I'm just waiting for it to come up. Alright, cool. We have live. Hey everybody! It's the Comedi-Furs, the podcast where you question, why the hell am I watching this crap?
Instead of Monday Night Football.
It's our holiday special! By holiday special, I mean we realized, oh shit, Christmas is coming up. We should probably throw out a podcast.
Yes, we should.
I got a new print stick. I'm finally back on vaping.
Wait,
I'm glad. I'm glad.
Hang on. Okay. Now it's a Christmas podcast.
Now it's a Christmas podcast. Yes.
By the way, I'm Flash Timberwolf. That's the Tails Dragon Wolf. Welcome. Happy holidays.
And if you've gotten this far in without watching the rest of our podcast and knowing our names, wow, you picked the podcast.
Yeah, again.
So like I said, I am back on vaping, and I am back on vaping because I felt really, really dirty having cigarettes after how can I put this? I used to smoke regularly before I found out about vaping, and then I felt really good because it's not as bad for you. Hashtag not sponsored by vaping. Hashtag this is just my experience. So I started vaping, and then when my vape broke, I was like, oh crap, I gotta get my nicotine through cigarettes. And it's I didn't want to, this is my thing. I didn't want to commit to buying a pack, because buying a pack means that I have to finish a pack. So I was essentially the homeless bum guy asking for a cigarette. This is every day with my coworker. Hey, can I bum a cigarette? It's I hate being that dude, so I'm so glad I got my vape back. I'm currently vaping Dream Drop Frosted Berry Cereal. It's basically Crunch Berries.
Yes, he is smoking cereal. Let that sink in for a moment.
It always makes me laugh that, they're oh, we need to get rid of these flavored vapes. They're enticing children. It was you do realize there are grown adults who like Crunch Berry cereal, right?
Yeah, there are? Well, yeah, they are. I mean, first of all, they're old enough to buy their own cereal, so, look, they can buy whatever they want. Just because something is marketed towards kids doesn't mean that only kids buy them. Besides, how many kids actually have money? The grown-ups have to buy the stuff.
And besides, I want to see someone try to sell a Bran Flake flavored fucking vape.
Maybe when you turn 50.
It tastes just like Bran Flakes. Those were the days.
I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there.
Yeah. It's okay, so this is a thing that occurred to me. I have to start distinguishing between stupid people and dumb people, because there is a distinction. Dumb is something you can cure with a Google search. If you're not versed on a topic and you say something that's wrong and someone corrects you, you can Google search that and be like, oh, I was wrong. I feel dumb. It's you were, but now you are brought into the land of wisdom. Stupid cannot be solved with a Google search because they refuse to believe Google. This is a conversation I had with one of my coworkers. Now, me and Carlos, my buddy, not using his real name, but for this sake, Carlos. Me and Carlos get into arguments a lot over little stupid things because he's a little bit older and a little bit dumber and not always right about things, but he has opinions. and he tends to stick very close to those opinions. One of the opinions that, or a couple of the opinions are like on what's lazy and what's not. The first thing that he said is lazy is online shopping. Like, that's what he told me. He's like, I don't like to shop online. I don't like to use Instacart unless I like have to get something that I can't pick up myself. I have to go pick it up myself. And that holds water if that was, you know, whatever he said. Like, people who shop online are lazy. And I have to correct him of like, no, people who shop online are efficient with their time. Because you can order something, and then you can go do laundry, or you can go cook yourself something, or you can go work out. And that's not being lazy. That's just saving time so you have more time to do stuff. And this day and age, you need all the time you can get to do stuff.
It has become more convenient lately, and basically the only way people can get things, because sometimes the stuff you're looking for is not sold in retail. You have to go online to places like Amazon or eBay to find exactly what you're looking for.
So that's not the end of the story. So another thing that he plays is he plays Pokemon Go, which is like, I play Pokemon Go, so, you know, we talk about it and stuff. The difference is he's on the spoofing app, which is basically you can just sit at home and move your dude around like a normal Pokemon game and just like have him do stuff, and you don't have to get up. And I brought this up to him, like, because he was bragging about it. He was like, "Oh, you should totally get the spoofing on it. You sit on your couch and get Pokestops and shit." I'm like, "All right, hold on, buddy. You're saying online shoppers are lazy, but sitting on your ass to play Pokemon Go is not lazy." And he gave me the excuse, "Oh, I can't go out because I'm diabetic and I got stuff." Like, that works under the assumption that the first statement was false. Because you'll go out to pick up your groceries when you don't have to. You'll spend your gas money to go drive to the store and spend your time out in the cold getting your groceries and stuff. But you won't spend that time on something you enjoy doing? Hold on. Where? What? I'm sorry. I like, because he, and this is my telltale sign of stupid, is I confronted him with this information, and I'm like, you have a confliction of two things. Which is it? And his response was, "You don't know what you're talking about. You're stupid." And that is the last bastion of a man who will hold on to his ideals and not compromise them because he wants to be right. So that's my new standard, is if I confront you with information that conflicts with yours, if you Google search it and it makes sense and you change your mind, or if I'm wrong, cool, you're not stupid. One of us was dumb. If you literally say, "No, I'm right," and you can't prove me wrong, you're stupid.
Huh.
Google isn't always correct, but you can find some decent information on there.
Of course.
Drinking out of a bag. That sucks for water, but it's really good for juice, actually. So, Flash, what revelations have come to pass in your life?
All right. Well, first of all, this gray muzzle just turned a little bit grayer this past Wednesday. That's right. Wednesday the 18th was my birthday. I am now, believe it or not, I am 39. That's right. I am 39 years old right now. I'm almost at 40. I'm getting there, and it's scaring me a lot. But yes, I am getting older, but basically still being a part of the fandom. Oh, speaking of which, let me show you what my roommates got me for my birthday. Check this out. Yes.
Yes.
I finally have a boombox. Unfortunately, I cannot turn it on because we're going to get copyright infringements yet again.
Yeah, the Christmas episode copyright.
I really want to because this is pretty cool. Because not only does it play like cassettes and stuff, it's got radio. It also has ports where you can like plug in it has USB plus stuff, so you can like plug in your MP3 player and everything. So I'm definitely hooking my iPod to this thing.
Oh yeah,
that's right. And it does take like 6 D-cell batteries, which I had to go out and buy.
That's the sign of an old tape deck, just like D batteries.
It's not as big as the one Radio Raheem used in the movie Do the Right Thing, but it's kind of close.
I'm satisfied. Happy birthday, by the way.
You know what I'm talking about, all right?
Yeah. Happy birthday, by the way. I actually thought you were going to pull out a gag gift. Like, I thought you were going to go to, like, and they got me a walker!
No, maybe for my 40th, but not now.
40th birthday, that's the time.
Yeah.
You got to induce that midlife crisis early.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to reach there soon. And because this is our holiday show, I am drinking eggnog from a Snoopy mug.
That's what I should have gotten eggnog. I should have gotten eggnog because I thought about it like just now. I was like, I totally should have.
Well, I did.
I literally ordered an Instacart. I had 2 Instacarts this morning. I had 2 opportunities to get eggnog. Literally, I got an Instacart that I wrote up yesterday. I was like, this is all the stuff I need. And then I got the Instacart and I was like, how did I forget eggs and sugar? The 2 things that I immediately needed at that moment, because it was breakfast and I needed coffee and I needed eggs. And I was like, how did I forget those 2 things? So I had to order another Instacart. And they only let you order like in $10 increments. So I was like, all right, I'm getting smoked salmon because I'm a fancy boy. I'm getting lettuce because I need to burn off the fat from the smoked salmon, so I guess I'm having lettuce-wrapped burgers. Well, yeah, I had 2 opportunities to order eggnog. Just did not come to mind. I don't know. It's like I've had a very un-Christmassy Christmas because I'm basically I've had a lot of apartment issues. And by apartment issues, I mean, yeah. Let me throw this out there. 4 reasons I have to leave my apartment at the end of January. I thought, and it was like going to be a sale. I was going to make some money off it. I was going to go to a different apartment complex, place called Southgate, where my friend got jumped before. Totally a good place to go, by the way. Like, my friend got jumped here. This looks like a lively neighborhood. So that was the original plan. And then someone called me and basically like, hold on. One of my friends from the complex was like, I'll find you a place to rent here in the complex. So we can just like move your stuff over. We don't even need to call a van. And I have a who's going to help me pay rent. So this should be perfect. And then she called me a little bit later and said, hey, the people are selling your apartment. Why don't I just buy your apartment and then you stay there and pay me rent? And I'm like, awesome. So essentially, what life is telling me right now is if I do absolutely nothing, all my problems will solve themselves.
Yeah, lucky you. I'm trying to do everything, and I'm getting nowhere fast.
Apparently being associated with me in the housing thing is a good thing. I'll call it karma. I'll call it karma because I try to be a good person.
Yeah, well...
Either that or I'm sucking angel dicks at night. I have no idea which one it is. Like, I might have had a good-ass dream one night, and there's no way I can get that any further without getting canceled on YouTube.
And with that lovely image, I am hopefully by mid-February, me and my roommates are going to be moving to a different apartment because we need something that's not only closer to where one of my roommates works because he goes everywhere by bicycle, But we also need something with our own washer and dryer because we can't keep spending money at the laundromat and, of course, using the machine in the building to do so. It costs us too much, so it's way better to have our own here. I did manage to find one, which is in a neighborhood I used to grow up in a long time ago when I was a kid. Unfortunately, it is costing me money that I do not have at the moment. I have to pay a ton of fees to get the place. I also have to pay penalties to move out of the apartment I'm in now because I am breaking lease. So I have to pay to leave and pay to get a new apartment. And I do not have the money for any of those things right now. I am stressing hard over this. I mean, I can get all the overtime I can get at my job, but it still won't cover everything because on top of all that, there's also other bills I have to pay, and it's killing me right now. So anything extra I can get would help me if I knew how. So I am really praying for some kind of financial miracle to help me right now because posting links to my PayPal isn't working because no one's contributing anything. I was thinking about doing like a GoFundMe thing, but I don't think it would work because I only think that only works for like, really worthy causes. Like, it's like someone's going into surgery. They need the money to cover the medical costs or anything like that. Yeah. Me just trying to pay to move probably wouldn't work. So that option's out the window. I'll come up with
just move to where I was gonna say just move to where Mr. Beast lives. Also, let me just put this out there. We just this podcast gets racy occasionally. We just basically gave the dynamic between a white person moving and a black person moving. Not even trying.
This is just life. That's basically what it is. It's life.
This is just social economical politics.
Yeah, let's not get into that because we have enough of that going on already, and I don't want to discuss it.
Yeah. We got something different on. Trump's got impeached!
On
we
my
have
birthday!
We got it!
Birthday!
We got rid of the Cheeto. Go on.
Well, technically, not really. He's just impeached. The House still I think Congress still has to vote him out if it's possible. So I'm just saying, I mean, the articles of impeachment have in place. The House did vote for impeachment, but he's not officially out yet.
Interestingly enough, Trump has apparently gone to social media with this because now every time I turn on YouTube, your vote wasn't counted properly because Trump got impeached, and that's not fair to you. And I'm like, I didn't vote for Trump, so blow it out your ears. I'm like, I didn't vote for anybody. I'm sorry.
Why would you vote for anyone who spends the majority of his time on social media like a moody teenager? I don't get that. I know teenage girls who don't tweet that much. Okay, seriously.
Now, if your tweets make sense, that's a different story. If you're tweeting about hey, maybe I should lower healthcare costs. Tweet that and maybe we'll talk. But, if you're talking about gotta get these goddamn Mexicans out of here, maybe shut up. Just word of advice. But this isn't a political podcast.
We don't know anything about politics anyway, except we can't stand them. I mean, we're on our Twitter feeds. We're trying to look for porn, but all I see are these political rants. I have to keep scrolling past. Okay, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Okay, here's that. Blah, blah, blah.
By the way, if you're wondering why our icon isn't the Christmas one, I don't know where the Christmas one is. It got lost in the files of my phone. I really should separate out all the furry pictures from all the stuff I actually need for this podcast. I will do that over the Christmas break.
Yeah. You need to be more prepared, basically. By the
I'm
time
not
you find it, it'll already be a new year.
Yes. By the time I find it, it'll be New Year's. Or it'll just pop up. As life has showed me, apparently doing nothing is the proper thing to do.
Yeah, it'll just show up on its own.
Yeah.
Right.
What Instacart has shown me, if you just oh, I want these things. Oh, it magically showed up, and I didn't have to call an Uber to go fucking Aldi's.
All right.
Hashtag we are not sponsored by Aldi's.
We're not sponsored by anybody.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm just doing this because he said so.
That's the best reason.
That's the only reason I'm here.
It was another case of like, hey, yeah, we should do this thing. Yeah, let's do this thing. Cool, you do have to work. I'm going to go take a nap. I don't try to do that, but half the time I have great ideas and I just don't have the implements to implement it.
I thought we weren't going racial on this. And I'll just leave it there.
I got sick burned by Flash. It really is a Christmas miracle.
All right, well, since this is the holiday show, we might as well do something holiday related. I don't know if you got any plans for Christmas or New Year's or anything like that, because me's basically doing the same thing. I'm going to be with the family, as always, going down to Delaware for the New Year's Furry Ball, which goes down on New Year's Eve. Basically, same stuff.
I actually do have plans, although they're a little weird. Tomorrow, sometime during the day, I'm going over to my buddy Balmongs, who I've been streaming Trials of Mana with on Twitch. Balmong Oni on Twitch. People, look that up. Yeah, we're going to do our usual Christmas thing in that I give him $20 and a pizza, and then he plays a game he absolutely hates, and I get to laugh at him. So, last year was Crystal Chronicles, because he hates that game, and I got to play along with. This year, I'm not technically allowed to relate which game it is until it starts, because that was his rule. But he is totally getting Domino's, because that's a lot of pizza for not a lot of money. Hashtag we are not sponsored by Domino's. Hashtag I really wish we were sponsored by Domino's, if only for the fact we could get free pizzas.
I mean, that would work for me. I don't have to spend money on anything, even though my roommates hate Domino's, but hey, it's free. So look, you can't argue with that, okay? I can't keep spending money on things. I'm trying to get a new apartment. I can't spend money on anything right now. Seriously.
So, on the plus side, I have been cooking around the house more. Because, spoiler alert, I don't have Nikki and Derek here anymore. I am all alone in the house. Or I was all alone in the house. I have a new roommate. She is awesome. I'm sure there will be stories, but not right now. When I get my new apartment, that's when stories will happen. Because I have to develop some.
Yeah, eventually stuff will happen.
Yeah. Eventually stuff will happen, particularly me blowing smoke into the camera and everything lagging out. That happens a lot.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't do that.
I can't stop.
All right.
This is Zero Nick, by the way. I do not have... I have done now only Zero Nick. That's my thing now. I don't do cigarettes, and I don't do nicotine-based anymore. I just do flavor. Oh, I apparently am very too loud. Hello, Kira. I am always loud.
All right, so someone's actually in channel watching us?
Yes, it's Kira, which, Kira, Merry Christmas.
Hey,
also,
Kira, thanks for watching. Enjoy
also, feel free to join us in next year's podcasts.
Yeah, it's going to be a new decade. Wow.
Note from the sound editor, I am apparently always loud. Sound editor in the chat.
Well, at least someone's watching us.
Yeah, our editor.
All right.
We gotta hope for those views on the replays.
Yeah, I've been posting links to them, if anyone's actually like watching them, because I post them on my.
And it's all on our channel. It's all on a playlist.
Yeah,
I will. Okay, so this is my to do New Year's resolution for this channel, because Lord knows I'm not going to do anything about my weight. I promise, new year, I will start streaming games on the channel. If not, I will do a subsidiary channel, something like that. 2, I want to start a project called Detailed Opinions or something like that. It's a working title. It's just going to be me, the camera, and talking like a moron. Might have Flash take over if I'm busy. Because that's generally how things work around here. It's like, hey, Flash, can you go talk about something for like an hour?
I'll come up with some stuff. And I'm also trying to get my roommates to do like cameo appearances if they can. He's always talking about wanting to do a podcast, but he can never like come up with anything. I said, yeah, just show up unannounced whenever I'm on here.
Yeah, as soon as you finance a tablet for him as well. The running joke. Yeah, Kira gets out at 8:30. We might have to move it to 9 at some point or something. I got to work around with timetables.
Yeah, because I get off at 6:30 on Monday, so it does takes me a while to get home. Once we move to the new place, it's going to take me maybe a little bit longer, depending on traffic. So
I put it like this. The minute I say, this is going to happen at this time, the next time that time comes up, some shit goes down. Could be good shit, could be bad shit, could be smelly shit. I don't know what shit's going to come down, but it always interferes with the podcast. Where Boots is dealing with not having a place to record. Like, that's his current situation. Like, he's not dealing with horrible stuff anymore. He's just dealing with no place to record.
Eventually, he'll be back with us. I really wish he was here with us tonight because it's the holidays. But eventually he will be joining us again really soon. Yeah.
Hello, Jay the Fox. Merry Christmas. Welcome to the Comedi-Furs Christmas podcast. Sorry, we don't have our usual Christmas logo because I'm a moron. That's going to be something I'm going to be repeating a lot.
Now, you can tell it's a Christmas show because I have my Santa hat on. So that way we have some kind of Christmas. And unfortunately, we can't play Christmas music in the background because we're going to get flagged again.
Yeah. All right, can I get some Merry Christmas Boots in the chat so we can show him that later? Yes. Show him that we miss him. I had the fucking Hawaiian shirt on last podcast, but give us a Merry Christmas for Boots in the chat.
Yes, wish him the best, and we all hope he'll be back with us again soon.
Yes.
Hopefully he'll
give him lasagnas in the chats. I want to see how many people actually caught that and do like a lasagna emoji. So, how are you? Okay, so last year I was the one who was super prepared for Christmas. Like, I had gingerbread house. I was doing like cool stuff. This year, Flash has the eggnog in the head thing, and I'm just like, oh yeah, Christmas was a thing. I should have done something.
I mean, we're trying to show some kind of holiday spirit in our own weird way possible. All right, so
I have a red shirt. I count.
Hold on. How many people are in chat right now?
4.
Okay.
I think 2 of them are me and our sound editor.
Okay.
But we have 2 people saying Merry Christmas, Boots, so
that's
I will show him that later.
All right. While we're on the topic of Christmas, now, I may have brought this up last year, but I'm going to bring it up again. Okay.
Actually, I can see. Okay. Okay.
Film.
Yes, it is.
So is this. Okay? Discuss. The debate of whether Die Hard or Die Hard 2 counts as Christmas films continues. And among other films also. Because I've been reading reviews of like other like old action to watch, because apparently the first Lethal Weapon counts as a Christmas film also. Well, when you think about it, it does kind of count. I mean, even though it takes place in Southern California, I mean, when
Mhm.
the movie starts, they play Jingle Bell Rock, and
Yeah.
so it does count, and apparently a bunch of them. But it's weird, like just because the movie takes place around December, they think, well, it's not a Christmas film because it's not really the central theme. Okay, but even if it takes place around Christmas and it does show some Christmas elements within the film, it probably will count. And there's other films that other people count, like a Gremlins.
Hmm.
People count that as a Christmas film. People are okay with that being a Christmas film, but somehow an action film doesn't count. Oh, but a strange horror film from the '80s with a PG rating counts.
I will thank you, Kira, for pointing out that I have my work shirt on. I didn't want to say that, but thank you for that. Uh, guess who's been lazy doing laundry? It's Christmas break. I don't want to do laundry. It's cold
I'm
out.
gonna have to soon anyway. So yeah, interesting topic of discussion. Like, are there any like movies or specials that you watch around this time of year that you make it your tradition? Like, we have to watch this, or it doesn't feel like Christmas.
Yes, I do have a very specific Christmas special that I watch every year. It's only in the Walmart theaters. It's called Walmart Shoppers. And it changes every year, but someone always gets trampled. Polar Express, that's a good one. Thank you for making lasagnas in the chats.
Oh, I can make that. All right. Well, me and my roommate started an interesting tradition. Like on Christmas Eve, what we do is we order Chinese food for dinner and we watch The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is actually a pretty decent movie. Now, I was never too into it at first, but like last year, I've seen the whole thing from beginning to end. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty cool. I like this. I know. Look, we have our own definition of what holiday movies are, but I thought it was nice. So we watched that, and then of course we watched National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which is a must see for like anybody.
So I will
I
say,
used to watch it a lot when I was young, and I still have.
yeah. So I will say this. I hope that my boyfriend does start some Christmas traditions with me starting next year. Because, like, I've had a few, like, Christmases recently. Been hanging around the house and basically just playing video games. Like, I do want to do proper Christmas traditions, but, like, I never get around to it. Or so the time isn't right, or I don't have somebody to do it with. DBZ. Wait, was okay? I just remembered. Wasn't one of the DBZ abridges just like a Christmas special? Is the Tree of Might basically a Christmas special? I'm pretty sure DBZ abridged just did like Tree of Might is like trying to destroy Christmas. Close enough. Thank you for confirmation on that. Power of Christmas Might. So, other news.
Yeah, yeah. Getting into or staying away from that. There were a few. Well, there was one movie trailer that came out a few weeks ago that I kind of like want to bring up. Have you seen the one for Ghostbusters Afterlife? Which apparently looks really good so far.
I have seen it. I really want to actually see that movie. Also, I'm out of bag.
All right. All right. So it doesn't reveal too much, which is a good thing because you don't want to put too many details in trailers, which a lot of films have been doing recently. And I like how they suddenly hint that one of that the kids in this film may be the grandchildren of one of the Ghostbusters. We could pretty much figure out who it is if you really pay attention to all the context clues. You see the original Ecto in there. You get to see all the original equipment that they use, the proton packs, the PKE meters, and And of course, Paul Rudd, who's always awesome, is in the movie. And they do acknowledge everything like that happened in the previous films. It's like this is an excellent replica of what a ghost trap. Like you didn't hear about what happened in New York 35 years ago? Then he showed him like news footage like on his computer of like what the Ghostbusters did like in the original film. So apparently this does take place in that universe. You know, apparently like 30 years after the end of Ghostbusters 2. So this pretty much picks up from there.
Apparently, it's not an all-female cast trying to do a feminist thing.
Yeah,
I did not go to see that movie, and it's not because I don't support females. It's because I don't even have nostalgia for the first two Ghostbusters movies. Like I saw them late in life.
I was kind of the same. Like for me, like when I was young, I was more like because I saw Ghostbusters 2 more often than I saw the original. I was more familiar with that film. I was kind of familiar with the animated cartoon show that came out at the time. Of course, I was a little confused because remember, in the 80s, we had two different Ghostbusters series. We had the real Ghostbusters and Filmation's Ghostbusters. And that confused me because on the old TV guide, if you remember those, because I'm the only one who does it because I'm old, whenever they would say Ghostbusters listed on the channel guide, you thought it was the real Ghostbusters, but it's the other version. And that confused me when I was a kid. Yeah, but I got more into the original 1984 film, a little bit later in life. Because I like both movies equally. Like, unpopular opinion, I do like Ghostbusters 2, even though a lot of people hate it. I personally don't like. I know what's wrong with it, but I still love the movie. And it's weird, people still hate Ghostbusters 2, and despite all the crap everyone gives the 2016 reboot, which, by the way, is a bad film, but it is a huge guilty pleasure for me because yes, it is a terrible movie, and there were so many things they could have done to make it better, but instead, the problem is not the actresses who are in it. It's the dialogue and the humor, because a lot of it was mainly improv, mostly, and that's like a bad example of when improv goes wrong, because it's better to go on script than off script, because then you just get jokes that just go on and on and on and never seem to stop, which is what I hate in most modern comedies nowadays. And the scene where they just keep talking and talking and they extend the joke and they make it go way too long and then it's not even funny anymore. It just gets annoying, which I see in pretty much everything nowadays. Movies, sitcoms, everything is doing that kind of dialogue, and I hate that.
You know what? I
killed that film was how it was structured.
I have definitely said this before. At one point, we definitely need to do a Mystery Science Theater 3000, just you and me, and watch old Ghostbusters films. And just here's the thing: most of them I haven't seen. Like most of the stuff that you talk about, I don't actually have context. But I think that would be a fun dynamic of you have all this retro nostalgia, and I'm just like, he certainly did get slimed. I don't know what to say about that.
It could work the other way around. You know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I know nothing of it. It could work the other way.
Oh yeah, two movies that I definitely want to take you on a little adventure. My two favorite movies currently are The Perfect Score, which is about 6 teens who conspire to steal the SAT answers, and Stay Alive, which is I'm going to quote horror movie because it's got Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh yeah,
you're not getting a horror movie out of that. But it's about kids who find this video game that if you die in the game, you die in real life in the same way, and they have to solve the problem.
Look, those movies I've heard of. I mean, The Perfect Score I did see. Stay Alive I've heard of, haven't really watched, but you said Malcolm in the Middle. I said, oh yeah, he's in there.
Yeah. On the subject of The Perfect Score, best line ever. Nah, I kind of want to be Blanca. With no context, effects, not fun. Watch the movie. It's fucking gold. I love that one.
And if you know your,
love that character. Roy is just amazing.
I guess if you know your gamer references, you'll probably figure that out. It's like, oh yeah, that's what he's. Yeah.
No, it's not even that. It's just like he actually like. Oh. When you shake your whole desk, you're that excited.
Don't do that.
As if I needed more stereotypes about me causing earthquakes.
Yes, I'm really looking.
No. What you should be concerned about is if I get up and Flash's screen starts shaking, that's a problem.
So yeah, Ghostbusters Afterlife, yeah, is looking really good. And a lot of people are giving it like some praise because, well, first of all, it takes place in the same universe as the first two Ghostbusters, and it's directed by Jason Reitman, who is the son of Ivan Reitman, who directed the first two Ghostbusters. So yeah, so there's some ties to that. Like I said, the only reason that film exists is to wash away the bad taste of the 2016 reboot. It's so much hate, which I can see, but there is still a fan base tied to it. There are some people who do like that movie, and that's fine. I'm just saying it did a lot of things wrong. Right?
Basically, Ghostbusters got its own version of DMC Devil May Cry. Gamers will get that reference. Nobody else. Showing I am firmly a nerd.
All right. So while we're on the subject of movies, is Rise of Skywalker really that bad?
Actually, you know what?
That's all I'm hearing. Like, it is terrible. It ruined the franchise or whatever. I'm hearing nothing but negative stuff about it. I mean, is it really that terrible? I haven't seen it yet. I have Jedi yet. But
you're in luck. I literally saw it last night. Okay. Here's the thing about it that everybody is all like. There's two twists in the movie that I'm not going to spoil because I'm not an asshole. Yeah, there's two twists in the movie. Did not need to be there. Did not need to be there at all. No. Didn't like. The first one is involving Rey. And if you know what that is, that's fine. And the second one is. Yeah, I'm trying not to be spoilery. The second one is just how it ended. And how it ended, I think a lot of people, especially people who are avid shippers, don't like it.
Okay. I think they may have an idea, but let's not discuss it because we have to see it for ourselves.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to keep this podcast spoiler-free for that one.
Yes, please. Well, they can probably point out the context clues of what you just said. They can probably figure it out. But yeah, like the last three, Star Wars films, kind of had a lot of fans divided. Like Force Awakens was good. I liked Force Awakens. Last Jedi, I still need to see, but everyone says it's terrible. And they're saying the same thing about The Rise of Skywalker. Now, basically they're saying that ever since Disney took over the franchise, it's not been going well at all.
Hold on. That would imply that the prequel trilogy was good.
No, we're not saying that the prequels were good. But some people enjoy it. Look, if you like them, fine. Okay? I mean, if you like them,
okay, I will say this. I don't have any problems with the prequel trilogy. I don't have any problems with the current one. I am very easy to please as just a general consumer. What I will say this is if you think the movies have gotten worse since Disney took over and added like 300 names to the credits, which yes, I did I watched through okay, so my roommate decided that we had to watch through the credits at the end of the movie to see if there was a post-credit screen. Just names! Fucking, they were like, I saw the lighting crew, the guy who sweeps up after things, the guy who bought the props is on the credits. maybe just like if you have that many people, condense them down. I did enjoy hearing all the classic Star Wars music. Like, you can make that credit a lot shorter. And then they had 2 rolls of credits. One for like, these are all the main actors. And now here are all the main actors again, followed by all the miscellaneous people. This is why early movies had the credits at the beginning of the movie.
Which no one does anymore.
Because they don't want people to sit in their seats that long. No, but like, honestly, special effects from Disney, the writing is a little bit more solid. There's a little bit more, like, I will never say that it's better than the original Star Wars trilogy. But that's one of those cases of, you caught lightning in a bottle. Good luck trying to get that again. Like, the reason the original, I think a lot of it is nostalgia, and I will never say anything bad of the original trilogy. Hell, I even like the remasters, because they made some things make sense, aside from the Han Solo, like...
that we can debate for days.
Let's just move his head slightly to the left, instead of, making the laser blast go past him. You could just make a Guido a bad shot, man. Or have him kick him under the table. I think that would have been a more logical move. Like, he goes to shoot, Khan just kicks him in the fucking shin. I digress.
Right.
I don't have any problem with the new Disney movies. I don't have too many problems with the quality of any Disney property, really. Like, usually Disney puts out some quality stuff. Do I question a lot of the morals of Disney, like behind the scenes stuff that they do that I hear about? Yes. Here's the thing. I am more concerned with the children that go lost to Disney and we never find them again than what the movies are doing. That's my usual take on that. But let's deal with the more severe problem here.
Yeah, which is how they ruined Star Wars. And I've been having like a love-hate relationship with Disney this past decade alone, because let's start with their movies first. Now, it's kind of weird because, like, in the previous decade, during the 2000s, the Pixar films were doing better, but the Disney animated films weren't doing so well. It kind of flipped this decade because the Disney movies were doing better while Pixar was struggling because they were just riding off the coattails of sequels. The only exceptions were Toy Story 3, Inside Out, and Coco. Everything else was kind of eh. Disney, on the other hand, actually got better. With Tangled, Wreck-It Ralph, Frozen, Big Hero 6, Zootopia, of course, because we're furries, Moana, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Frozen 2. They've been doing okay for themselves.
They have.
I don't know what the next decade's going to be like for Disney in terms of movies, but it's interesting how their films have either evolved or changed throughout the years, because Disney did give us some good films. However, some of the other stuff they've been doing, I'm very mixed on, like how they're controlling everything. Well, not everything, but they're getting there. I mean, they own Star Wars, they own Marvel, they own National Geographic, they own 20th Century Fox for some reason. If you have Disney Plus and you see movies that weren't really made by Disney but were made by a studio, you can figure out that, oh wait, that was released under 20th Century Fox. That's why that movie is there. Like, for some, if you have Disney Plus, you're wondering why is Home Alone on there? I was like, oh wait, yeah, another studio did that. And this was something my roommate pointed out. There was a film Don Bluth did in the 90s that for some reason is on Disney Plus, even though that company screwed him a long time ago. That's why he left and did his own thing.
There's certain
I think Thumbelina. I think Don Bluth did that one. Now Disney has it.
Yeah, I'm I'm literally just waiting for all the newscasters in the world to like go on newscast all at once and like in other news, we are now owned by Disney. I've said too much. I'm fired.
And the weird thing is, The Simpsons predicted this. It's like,
Yeah.
there was a clip from like an old episode that said 20th Century Fox now owned by Disney. They actually own them.
Yes, I own them.
So The Simpsons are now a Disney property, which is I'm having a very hard time grasping right now. Why do they?
Do you want to go to fucking court? Because this is copyrighted by Disney now.
It is so weird.
If I keep throwing stuff over my shoulder, I'm gonna have so much to clean up later. She's like, well, I'm done with this prop.
That's what's going to happen in the next 10 years. Disney's going to own everything.
Mm-hmm. And no, the new movies aren't as bad as Jar Jar Binks. I don't think there's too much. Okay, Jar Jar Binks, you can at least say he's memorable.
For all the wrong reasons.
For all the wrong reasons, but he's memorable. And he hasn't shown up yet from I don't know where he went. He's not in the movies anymore, so we can just enjoy the fact that we had an incredibly stupid character and it was funny.
Not for the ways we wanted, but it just happened. We just leave it at that.
I think in the new movies they were like, all right, less freaky alien characters, more droids. Everyone loves droids. Let's put a droid on top of a ball. It would be the most adorable thing ever.
And it worked.
It worked. Put a droid on top of a ball. And in the new movie, they knocked off that droid with a cone droid on top of a wheel. We are progressing back in the Stone Age. I am convinced that if they did another Star Wars movie, they need to find another spherical object to put an orb on. They have an orb, they have a wheel. They need to create a new. There's going to be an oval-shaped droid, I swear, that just rolls around on his face. I'm speculating at this point. The one thing I wanted to bring up though is while the movie scene is these movies. The video game industry is booming with Star Wars. You notice that, ever since, they decided to step away from the Battlefront thing, which was kind of stupid. The new I forget what the name of the game is. Basically Star Wars Dark Souls. That's an amazing game. And even before that, we had The Force Unleashed, which, controversial, I like the game. And I think that's we don't care how bad the canon is fucked up as long as we get to force choke someone and chuck them off a cliff. That's the gamer point of view of this. We care about what this story has to tell. It doesn't touch the main trilogy. And by the way, we have a lightsaber, so fuck you. I think that solves most problems in life. I have a lightsaber, fuck you.
These are not the droids you are searching for. I've just thrown out a random reference there, and yeah, that is something.
I do not need to pay for this donut and coffee.
Bring up about this past decade, as we were talking about, Disney in a decade. Let's talk about the 2010s in general. Now, I've been thinking a lot about everything I have experienced these past 10 years. Not just me personally, but kind of like life in general, how I see it. I call the 2010s the decade of fandoms. Here's why I say that. With the rise of social media and basically every film or new TV show that has premiered in the past 2 years has a fan base tied to it, we've been seeing a lot of fan groups and communities based around almost everything from the Marvel Cinematic Universe to Steven Universe to Rick and Morty to Adventure Time, and of course My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, which I find very surprising.
You know,
No matter what you feel about the show, movie, video game, comic, any of those things, or the people tied to them, you got to admit there's something about those things that brings people together. And I see a lot of stories about that. I hear about, how they were struggling at some point, whether, emotionally or something like that. Then they got into this group and, they either spark their imagination, allow them to create content, whether they do art, write stories, or create YouTube videos. They were able to find friends among the community, which really helped them out, which I hear a lot of stories of. And even us furries, we've had that, even though there is still some negativity tied to it, mostly pertaining to how we treat each other, mostly, which I've been seeing a lot of negative the past couple of years in terms of communities and stuff. But I still think we can improve, as people in order to make, the community and our, fan groups a lot better. Hopefully we'll see some improvement in the next 10 years. And I almost kind of wish like furries would follow the example of like other fandoms, because I hear stories about, how everyone is friendly, they help each other out and stuff, how they love being around each other, and places outside of the meetups and the conventions, how they do stuff outside of that. We don't see a lot of it in here, which is what I'm noticing. And I was talking to my friend about this, and this is basically how we describe furry today. It's high school 2.0. Because
yes,
everyone is in their own little cliques. No one goes outside of them. We're constantly discriminating and judging people on how different they are, if they don't share the same interests as us, if they're not interested at all. No one talks to anybody anymore. And I'm sad to say I kind of agree with him, because we are seeing that a lot, which is kind of sad. Because I've been in the fandom for 14 years. I got into it because furry is mostly about people who are fans of cartoon animals. I grew up watching a lot of cartoon animals. I didn't have anyone to talk to it about it, so I went into this group. I got more and more social. I got way more involved in fandom, especially this decade, because we're doing a podcast now. I've been doing stand up in various conventions, mostly in the masquerades, not professionally, maybe someday, but
someday.
I still enjoy doing it at masquerades, especially at Furpocalypse and Method Fermi, which I'm mostly known for. So I've been very more involved with it. But there's still some problems we need to work out, which a lot of people are ignoring, and a lot of people don't like talking about these things, but we need to in order to improve. Sometimes you have to be out of your comfort zone and talk about these things that we are uncomfortable about in order to be better. A lot of people don't like doing that, but we have to. It's called being an adult. Thank you for attending my TED Talk.
I had a thought, and then I heard the words, furries, you have to be adults. I'm like, that's not going to go over too well, is it?
Maybe I should word that differently.
Maybe a little differently. This is the thought I was
a little strong about this, but you'd have to do that to get people's attention. All right? That's how you do it. So,
you could have just started that with furries, you need to be adults, and then just like they would all go right. We joined this fandom so we didn't have to be adults anymore. No, but this is.
I mean, you can still do that, but there are some cases, you have to watch how you present yourself and everything. Because lately, a lot of young people have been coming into the fandom, and it's great that they're exploring this everything, but they're starting to get like a little bit of the wrong idea of like what furry is. They kind of make it their own thing, and they exclude other people out. So that's
Well,
why us gray muzzles are getting pushed out of the fandom. They're saying we don't belong because we're too old, even though we were the ones that started this in the first place.
I mean, to be fair, our generation, we invited people in who were like, "Oh, you're a furry. You want to fuck?" We were maybe a little too accepting. A little too accepting, but
that's later. Okay.
Okay. So this is my observation. I remember in the time that I've been in the fandom, that there was always a conflict. That it was like furries versus something. Like first it was like furries versus the media because we were getting a bad rap, and it's like, no, this isn't all about sexual thing. Like, fight the power. We're a furry and we're proud. And then, like, for a while, it was like furries versus different fandoms. Because I remember there was a big furry versus brony thing because My Little Pony suddenly showed up on the banner of Fur Affinity
earlier in the decade.
Yeah, I think for a while there was like definitely furcons that had furries versus college students.
Even though
there was a few stories of that.
But most of the people coming into the fandom recently were in college.
I know, that's why it's funny. I think it was specifically college frat boys. But that was like sorted out very quickly. The point is, after all this stuff, we're at a point where now furry is almost mainstream. Like, I talk to people about furry and they immediately know what I'm talking about, which is weird because they don't have to explain it, which means all the things I had saying are completely gone, and I'm like, yeah, I am a furry. Oh, you already know what it is? Okay. That's the end of the conversation. I was like, I don't have anything to explain anymore. But we've gotten to that point where people just know who we are now, and there's no conflict right now. So we're just fighting with ourselves because we're bored. That's the only explanation I have, is like, we're just creating these little sects and all that because we're not unified anymore. What we need to do is just have. I am in favor of, let's just make Convention Con. Just all the different fandoms come in, and then we all beat the crap out of each other with wiffle bats. Because then we have a reason to be mad at someone. Oh, that brony hit me in the head. The furry versus brony war is on again. And then we can ignore our own problems.
Why do you want to start conflicts? We're trying to end them. Okay.
We're trying to end them within our fandom. Those Steven Universe fans, they look like easy targets. Apparently, it's really easy to shatter a gem. Oh, what's wrong with me? I'm getting old. I'm 30, gonna be 31.
I just turned 39, okay? I'm gonna be 40 in a year, okay?
So we will only ever share this first digit of our age for 2 years at a time. That's a generational gap right there. No, but that's like what I see is like, we were a lot happier when we were hating on someone.
I did.
It's sad but true. I think that works in any social clique. That's why social cliques exist. You have to hate someone to feel better about yourself. That's a horrible advice. Don't take my advice. Feel good about yourself. Have good self-esteem. I'm a horrible person, apparently. This is what happens when I just ramble off thoughts.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't give advice on this topic. Maybe I should handle it from now on.
No, I will say, ignore everything I just said.
All right, I don't need any more at this point.
I will say this, though, about the idea of Convention Con. Just getting all the fandoms together, there's only two ways that ends. Either there's a lot of conflict or there's crossbreeding, and that's going to be weird. We're going to have Crystal Gem furries, and I don't know how... We probably already do. Our fandom is like... just crosses over with everything.
I mean, look, you can be fans of a lot of things. You don't have to be strictly just one thing.
True.
I mean, I dabble in a lot of different things. Like, I do like the Star Wars films. I wouldn't consider myself a fan of it. I do like most of the films. I've seen the original trilogy. The prequels I can tolerate for a point. Force Awakens I do like. I still need to see The Last Jedi and everything. I mean, there's a lot of things I go because because my knowledge of pop culture is very broad. I like knowing about stuff. I like learning about how different fandoms work and what makes this thing so popular. Like, what do you see in this that you're into? Like, oh, okay. I mean, I like learning about stuff like that, and like all the other fandoms that generate this decade. Like the Brony community. There's something about the show that drew people to it, and I want to know like what they got out of it and how they convey it in their own lives. And
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed to say I did see the show. I thought it ended on a nice note back in October. I did see the finale. Okay, it was good. Okay, I'm not ashamed to admit that. But
Yeah.
when you talk about stuff like that, I say, oh, okay, you see. But I'm not strictly just like one thing. I mean, even though I am a furry, I do like other stuff as well.
We're coming up to the last 30 minutes. I need to go fill up my juice. I will find a replacement commentator real quick. Hold on.
He's going to take his spot for a moment. We've reached that part of the show. Yeah, just leave him there. We can still see him. Good enough. Well, yes, we are furries. How did you know? Speaking of which, here's mine. I've had this guy for like 14 years. He's just as gray as me. We're all getting old. So, yeah, aren't you? Yeah, you are. We have to get you new glasses. Your astigmatism's getting worse. The weird stuff we do on the internet is God. Hopefully, if you are listening to this, then you are taking some of our advice to heart. Especially from someone like me. I've been around. Remember, I've been around like not like the early days of fandom, but since like the early 2000s and learning about it myself. You really. I had a train of thought for just a moment. My brain isn't working as well as it used to because too much stuff going on. But yeah, like I said, looking back at everything and how much things have changed, I mean, you can say things are either getting better or they're getting worse, but there's always room for improvement. So you might want to take those opportunities, find out everything that's wrong, and just try to fix it. Because if you want to make things to be better, then you have to improve yourself as well.
That visual joke took longer than actually getting the juice, and I probably could have done without it, but it was funny anyway.
What, less than a minute?
It took less than a minute. I was like, I think it took longer to try to set up the thing, and I just gave up halfway.
And it's start having his thing to come back. Yeah, so everyone's doing like these lists about like the best and worst of like the past decade. But it's like what were the best shows? What were the best movies? Because we all have our own opinions about it.
If y'all want Pup Pup on the next podcast, because I'm naming it Pup Pup now, I will set up a separate camera and a headset for him at some point.
Of course, obviously, this was the best film of the decade. No questions asked.
By any furry, at least.
It has made some other lists as well.
Yeah.
I have seen it pop up. I've seen other people talk about saying Zootopia was one of the best animated films of the decade. And we've had some other ones, as well. or anything that isn't made by Disney. I would say films like How to Train Your Dragon, uh, Kubo and the Two Strings, which is one of the few stop motion animated films that very few people make these days, which is really good. But and almost anything that came out of Japan the past 10 years, I don't know like all the films that came out of it, but if anyone who's more familiar with anime might know. I mean, animation's been interesting, even though everyone fully relies on CG to do animated films, which is fine, but we do miss the look and feel of 2D hand drawn animation, which is kind of coming back because a lot of independent animators are doing that, which I think is cool. And we are getting some form of 2D animation on Netflix. We haven't seen this yet, but I do want to see it. That movie Klaus, that's on Netflix, which I hear is really good. We definitely want to check that out. And I don't know why, but that new Green Eggs and Ham show with really good. I don't know how you make a series based on a book. I mean, a movie maybe, but an entire like episodic series based on a simple children's book about trying to get someone to eat something that they really don't like until they try it. How do you make a show based on that?
I don't know. I will. By the way, welcome Rashida Mikon. I don't know why your name is all in caps in the second one, but kudos to you for making me do that. How long was this on? We've been on for about hour and a half. We got a half hour left. Also, Balto is another good one. Thank you, Kira, for Balto. Again, Merry Christmas to our Christmas podcast that has nothing to do with Christmas because we're smart.
In case you haven't noticed, this is our holiday show.
If you haven't barely noticed. You know what the funny part is? I just thought of this now. If I had put Pupper up on a separate video on like my phone or something, we probably could have used the Christmas graphic because it's saved in OBS. Why didn't I think of this before the podcast? Why do I not think of these good ideas later or earlier?
That's how we work.
Well, now we know. From now on, if we only have me and Flash, I'm going to bring Pupper in for the podcast. I will find a way. I need to get him to stand up straight first.
So yeah, the 2010s is almost over. It's looking back at everything in terms of entertainment-wise, like we've seen a lot of different advancements in animation, both on the big screen and on television. We've seen a lot more original content on streaming services. By the way, yeah, there's other original stuff we've seen on Netflix, which I find
all this original stuff. We saw YouTube Rewind crash and burn. I'm sorry, but like they were like, hey, you didn't like what we did last year, so here's more stuff we like about the channel. I'll tell you what, just like, I know you put PewDiePie in charge, just have the community do YouTube Rewind. Just like hand it off to a bunch of people that care about the platform, that watch the platform all the time. Give them like $100 at the end of the year, hash this out. That's all you need to do.
By the way, this video is for people 13 and over. I think we should bring that up because, yeah, we really have to make. We have to make sure. Like,
hi, Copa.
whatever you upload to YouTube, you got to make sure if it's intended for children or not. Obviously, this isn't.
Clearly,
even though there's cartoon characters behind me, this is not meant for kids. Even though you have to be my age to know who that is.
This is true. No, it is just funny that Nadia. Oh, it's Nadia. I didn't even know. Hey, great to see you. My co-workers are joining into the podcast. Is that sad when like the only people who tune into your podcast are your coworkers?
I'm glad people
We support you, big boy. Thank you for your support.
People I work with don't know I do this. It's probably a good thing because I'll never hear
I am very open with my life because I feel like lying is too much effort.
I prefer
Why lie? Then I gotta come up with more lies? That's too much brain power. I'll just tell the truth and get in trouble. At least I know where I stand if I'm in trouble.
Right. So anyway, we're just looking back the past 10 years. So if anyone in chat would like to chime in, what were some of your favorite movies / TV shows of the past 10 years? Yeah, let us know.
Your favorite events of the last 10 years? I got a bag. It never stops being funny.
I have a mug. And I'm almost out of eggnog.
You know, I literally did a sight check and went over there. I only filled it halfway. I'm an idiot. I gotta fill that thing with booze next time. Make things more interesting. Thank you, Nadia, for supporting.
Of course.
Normally we'd have Boots here, but everybody wish Boots a Merry Christmas if you haven't, because he's good kitty. He doesn't have a place to record right now. We're keeping the channel alive.
We're doing everything we can to try to keep this somewhat entertaining, so please bear with us.
No, that's the good thing. Here's the thing. Boots made the channel, and he's in Canada, so we don't have to worry about Copa. I want to see them go after Canadian citizens, because at that point, there's going to be conflict. And I'm sorry, I'm going to go on the side that has Tim Hortons. Sorry, America, you don't make that good a coffee.
Yeah, everyone says
the most flimsy response. Like, I'm gonna go where they have the good coffee.
Yeah, someday I'm gonna try Tim Hortons because everyone says how good it is, but I've never been.
It's so good.
I need to go someday, but well, depending on how the next presidential election is, I may have to go.
Okay, right. Yeah.
I really don't want to because I'm having enough trouble moving around the state where I'm at right now. I really don't feel like moving again. So I kind of want to stay, but if I have to go again, then
Tim Hortons, the most tasty bump of cocaine you'll ever have. No, seriously, like people who watch the Vernal Equinox like thing, I made a joke about like Tim Hortons has a thing called Triple Triple. It's a extra large coffee with 3 shots of espresso. And I said, how bad could that possibly be? Up all night.
You'll be up.
I wasn't even up all night. I was up all con.
Of course. That's why no one sleeps at the con. They all drink that.
I was like, I'm down. I gotta go to some freaking room parties. I never go to room parties. Like, I think I've gotten invited to one, but it was like one of those kinky ones, and I was like, taken? I'm like, this is the worst possible time. Why does nobody invite me to these things when I'm single? Probably because I'm never single. I rebound very quickly.
I'm single, and I don't go to those things either.
Yeah.
That shows you how wonderful my life is.
Well, nobody invites me. Like, nobody invites me when I have the opportunity to go. If, like, I'm in an open relationship or something, nobody invites me. The minute it's, like, I'm in a closed relationship, hey, we're going to this fetish bondage party. Do you want to come? And I'm like, can I give the answer of yes, but I can't? Like, morally, I can't. Also, you ain't going to find bondage that fits me, so there's no point. I'm making fun of the fat. I'm fat.
Yeah, no.
No, it's just
lonely and
yeah.
broke. That's me.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you? I'm three things: single, lonely, and broke. Adulting.
I think if you solve one of those things, the other two problems go with it. If you solve single and you have a girl who actually has money, that solves like both of the other problems. I almost stay. Okay, so here's the thing: when we were in the early stages of I may get kicked out, one of the thoughts was, oh, I'm moving. So like, there was two places in Jersey that were like, hey, we need a roommate. I sent you both addresses, and I'm like, are either of these close to you? And I just got
nothing.
No, I sent them. I was like, I was waiting for a like, yeah, I know at least one of those places, but no. Because that would have been like hilarious if like the next podcast I just show up at your house. It's like, hey, this just became an in-person podcast.
Hey, why are you here?
Why are you here? And no excuse for your roommate if I'm literally in the house.
Well, that's just life around here. Just random people. I don't even know who's here half the time.
Yeah. I think it would be even funnier if I dropped in on our sound editor because he lives in like Hawaii general area that I can't disclose. But it's just like, it would be great to come into the next podcast in Hawaii shirt. I'm actually in Hawaii.
Like, what are you doing here? I never invited you.
It's like the most gimmicky podcast ever. I just do it from random people's houses now. It's just like, I don't have a house anymore, so I just set up my equipment in a random person's house.
You just walk in like random people's house and do a podcast. I'm in my apartment, and Details is in some guy's house.
And some guys, I was like, I come up like the Jehovah's Witness of podcasts, just like, hello, sir, I'd like to talk to you about Comedi-Furs. May I come in for a sec and do a podcast?
Wait, is this about Jesus? No.
No,
okay.
This is about furries.
Oh, it's not religious? Okay, come on in.
Yes. I feel like there would be at least one person to do that too.
No.
That's a Mr. Beast thing there, isn't it? Like, hey, let me do this podcast. Oh, by the way, here's $10,000. Kudos to Mr. Beast for giving out random money that probably isn't his.
Man, I wish I had $10,000 right now because it'll cover everything I need to take care of.
I think I would just want to move in directly next door to Mr. Beast. And then if I ever hear a plan, I'm like, I'm going to set myself up for this. I don't have the money to live next to Mr. Beast. I don't. Probably has a good house.
I don't really know who that is, so I'm just going to stay out of it.
Oh, no. Okay, so Mr. Beast is a YouTuber. Like, basically all of his videos are giving away money. Like, he has, like, random challenges, like, real-life Monopoly with, like, $1,000 bills. Or, like, a big-ass stack of money, and everybody puts their hand on it. The last person to take their hand off it gets the money. That kind of stuff. Like, watch this show and just be jealous of these people.
I'm jealous just hearing about it.
I think one of the things they actually did, this was like literally a Mr. Beast video. They ordered a pizza, and they had the guy move stuff into the house, like, hey, can you help us? This is a friend's house. We're giving him the house because he's run on hard times. Can you help us furnish this house and bring stuff in? And the pizza guy is like just bringing stuff in and telling him like, wow, this is really nice. And then they go in like behind and buy the stuff he finds really nice. And like they find out all this stuff about him and whatnot. And they fill the house. And then at the end of the day, they're like, oh, by the way, you're our friend. Here, have the house. Like, they literally just say, by the way, have the house. We're going to keep the pizza, but have the house. You're going to tip them the house. That was the name of the video.
That is one hell of a tip.
That makes me want to work at Domino's, but that's never going to happen to me.
I just work with auto parts, so I'm fine where I'm at right now.
I know, right?
I wish it paid a little bit more. I mean, I like what I do, but I need to make a little bit more to try to make ends meet,
Yeah. We still got to work on that video of Details is Easily Distracted. Because of the shit that I do on podcast. I'm always distracted by something. I feel like if you put sound effects to that and, like, did editing work to it, it would be really funny.
Yeah, if we knew how to do that, it'd probably be. Alright, so. Oh, okay, another random thing I just want to bring up real quick. Apparently that new Cats movie is doing terribly. A lot of people are hating that shit. Yeah, some Broadway plays should not be adapted into movies. But Hollywood has to learn the hard way. Some things you cannot properly adapt to film, especially video.
I mean, some Disney movies shouldn't be adapted into furry art, but we don't have any problem with that.
I know. Everything's a reboot, a remake, an adaptation of something. But going back on Cats real quick, just because something looks furry doesn't mean that we are automatically drawn to it. Even we knew. When we first saw that trailer, we were like, no.
Nope.
We caught on to it quick.
It's like, oh, look, they're almost trying.
They don't get it.
Here's the thing. If it's so bad we won't draw porn of it, it shouldn't exist.
Exactly.
That's a pretty steep standard. I've looked on Fur Affinity. The tabs keep getting longer.
I mean, even some of the worst animated films have porn of it, like Arctic Dogs, which I hear is absolutely garbage. But someone does like Swifty for some reason, so there's that.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta draw the line somewhere. I think like the only animated film I've never seen porn of was the Emoji Movie. That's how bad a film has to be that you can't find Rule 34 of it.
See,
it's got.
Here's the thing. Now that you said that, I know after the podcast I'm going to search it. Because at some point I'm going to get curious. Well, thank you for bringing that into my life. I've seen porn of Minecraft, okay?
I mean, well, obviously because it's popular.
I know, but I'm just saying the Emoji Movie porn has to be somewhere. And now I have to be the schmuck to find it.
I mean, I may be wrong about it, or maybe even the art was so bad that it got deleted. Maybe
the art was literally emojis. Literally emojis. Technically, if you want to count what people do in the chat when fucking like they're joking around with the eggplant, technically there is porn of the Emoji Movie if you call it that. If that's the case, technically that's the movie that has the most porn of it.
I have yet to see it, unless I'm wrong.
I mean, like when people put like eggplant,
probably out there. I don't know why. I mean,
well, I was talking about like when people put eggplants in the chat and stuff.
They're just being immature.
Can we get some eggplants in the chat? I don't know if YouTube supports eggplants. If your YouTube browser doesn't support eggplants, let us know you're here by putting eggplant in the chat.
Or just type the word eggplant.
Just type the word eggplant.
Just type it. I don't care. Or just type out the emoji. Smiley face, meh emoji. I don't know, high five, whatever is out there.
This is the kind of stupid stuff we do. We get like people who watch our podcast to type eggplant in the chat. Okay, the eggplant emoji does work. Thank you, Kira.
Now we know.
Now we know.
I don't know why, but okay.
This podcast is now officially emoji porn. That's what we're getting at. What the fuck is wrong with this? What the fuck is wrong with me? I come up with these stupid ideas. That's generally how my comedy works, though, isn't it? Like, for every 20 stupid ideas, I get one good one.
Yeah. Just try whatever works. Whatever sticks to the wall.
Well, if we're typing eggplants in the chat, I don't know how much I want sticking to the wall.
Right,
we swear we're not drunk.
This eggnog is non-alcoholic, and I still come up with funny stuff.
Yeah. I question what would happen if we actually started drinking on the show.
We might actually get laughs.
We might actually get views. Look at these two drunk idiots. Oh, man. So the point we're getting at, Hollywood, stop making shit movies.
Well, it's gonna be hard too, because either everything nowadays is a remake, a sequel, a reboot, an adaptation,
or it stars Will Smith.
No originality anywhere. There's none. I mean, even as big as Disney has gotten, even fallen into the trap of just rebooting everything, which there really is no reason to do. I mean, did anyone ask for a live-action Beauty and the Beast, or Aladdin, or The Lion King? I mean, the original movie was perfectly fine. We don't need to be told again, even though technically they kind of did. You know, Kimba the White Lion. But anyway.
I mean, I think what we're getting back to is that even if a movie is bad, people will go see it so they can make fun of how bad it is. Like, that's why reboots happen. Because people want to make fun of stuff, and unfortunately, when you reboot something, there's always going to be critics who come and, like, pan it according to the original. There's always going to be people talking about it, like, oh, this movie is awful, blah, blah, blah. And people hear, oh, this movie is awful, and then think, oh, shit, I have to go spend my money and see how awful this movie is. That's what the movie industry is now. It's no longer quality movies. It's just, let's make the worst movie possible so people start talking about it and come see how bad it is.
Unfortunately, it works.
It does!
Because, you know, some of us like to formulate our own opinion on movies. I mean, some people, you know, jump the bandwagon and say, oh, well, everyone says it's bad, so I guess I'm going to say it's bad too. Or, wait, let me see this for myself and see if it's as bad as everyone says it is.
And then they go on and like, oh, yeah, this is bad.
Like I said, Disney's been rebooting everything, even on Disney Plus. Like, just recently, they did a live-action Lady and the Tramp. Mm-hmm. Why?
I think there's one movie that was released that did it right. They put out a quality movie that was just good enough to give the fans, and it was Detective Pikachu, and they gave the fans what they wanted. Packs of free Pokemon cards. I went to go see that movie twice so I could try to get that Mewtwo card.
I mean, I need to see it because I heard, well, my friends saw it. They said it was good. So I need to check it out for myself because, you know, it would be nice to see a movie based on a video game that doesn't...
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just answering Kira. I have not seen Happy Death Day. I want to, because that seems like an interesting movie.
Yeah, it's basically...
There's a lot of movies I want to see, but I don't have time for it, even with the Instacart time save.
Basically, it's Groundhog Day as a horror film, but it still works.
I mean, Groundhog Day was a comedy that should have been a horror film.
Well, it does get dark in a few places, so I guess it could count. And of course, Bill Murray, you can't go wrong with him.
Mm.
But like I said, you think a company as big as Disney would come with something original. That no, we're just going to do live action versions of everything, which they really don't need to.
They are utilizing Will Smith, which is again a staple of movies that works. Right now, the two people you utilize in movies for everybody to go watch them is apparently Will Smith and The Rock. If you have one of those two in, you're getting a Hollywood blockbuster.
Well,
it's sad that I have to say that.
I know. However, the only thing Will Smith is in that I'm actually looking forward to see is the third Bad Boys movie, Bad Boys for Life, which comes out in January. I want to see that. Because I do like Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. I love the original film from 1995. The sequel, way over the top, but kind of a guilty pleasure. But hopefully they'll get it right this time, only because Michael Bay is not directing. So that's why I'm looking forward to it.
Wait, hold on. There was a Lady and the Tramp live-action version? Why haven't I heard of this?
Because it's on Disney Plus. You have to have You have to have Disney Plus in order to watch it. Because
I am suddenly very glad my roommate has Disney Plus.
Yeah, mine does too. I don't have it. I mean, I'm tempted because of a certain show I grew up with in the 90s. If you know me, you know what it is.
Roommate, can we go watch the Baby Yode? I want to put on the Baby Yode.
I heard The Mandalorian is excellent. I want to check it out if I ever do get a chance, just to see if it's as good as everyone says it is. Everyone is loving The Mandalorians. If it's really that good, then I'll check it out. If I do get this, like I said, I'm tempted, but we'll just wait. Besides, I can't afford it right now, so I'll have to wait a while before I can get it for myself.
Disney Plus, one more subscription for your wallet.
However, there is another movie that they did originally on Disney Plus, which I am kind of interested in. It's called Togo, it's about you know the movie Balto, right?
Yes.
It's about the sled dogs that had to deliver medicine, to Nome, Alaska during the diphtheria outbreak. Togo is basically what actually happened. Because if you know the story behind that, well, first of all, I don't know why they made Balto the main character. Well, obviously they did in terms of an anime film, but there was an actual sled dog who actually made the trip. And that's the movie about him. Well, actually, he did most of it, but I think if I know my history correctly, according to what actually happened, I think only Balto did part of the journey back to Nome, and apparently he got all the attention, and everyone surrounding Togo was very mad at that because he didn't basically do anything. The other dog did most of the work. Balto got all the credit.
Balto has a more marketable name, apparently. Because that's what it probably broke down to.
I mean, well, if you think about it, I think the statue is still in New York City, in Central Park, I think that's where it is.
Yes, in the movie they showed the statue, but they said it was Balto. I imagine people go to New York City like, what the hell is Togo? I was coming to see Balto.
Yeah, that's what kind of messed us up was kind of the movie. It's loosely based on a true story, but obviously they made all that stuff up to make him, because they love making outcast characters the hero, which I don't mind in most films because that's what I do like. But if you based it on something that actually happened and you twist it around to make the other character look like the hero, like he did it all by himself, it does ruin the reputation of the person who actually did it. So apparently this new movie, Togo, which by the way has Willem Dafoe in it, it's mostly about him and the journey they took, to deliver the medicine So.
Yeah. All right, so we have come up on our time limit. This has been Comedi-Furs. It's great that you guys come out to hear us ramble on about stupid shit.
Yes, the both of you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I love you.
Yes, the both of you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year's. Whatever holiday you celebrate, whatever deity you worship, and whatever class you pick in League of Legends, you weirdo.
Well, yes. I think everyone should be covered. So, if you know your Simpsons, in the words of Krusty the Clown, have a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, a crazy Kwanzaa, a tip-top tent, and a very solemn Ramadan. There, we covered everybody, all right? So no one can complain.
I've been Details. That's been Flash. We out.
Thank you for watching. We hope to see you in 2020.
We are hopefully out.